Henderson and Recker.
Two-man game inside. Recker and Evans trying to screen for each other. Obviously, Steve Alford said, let's go inside.
Henderson battles for the rebound, and it's called on Indiana's Moye.
Good aggressive rebounding inside, and that's why I'm waiting for Odell to come into this ball game.
The Kansas lead now is 40 over Texas Tech. A tournament team, I might add, and remarkable one-season turnaround there.
And what we're having right now is that Iowa's strength inside has just been able to battle that ball away from Indiana.
That was the 10th team foul, so 2 the rest of the way on each end, and Duez Henderson can tie it with this one right here.
77% free throw shooter. Nice form.
Matching 56ers. Iowa trying to...
Isn't this where we were last year, Jim?
Came down to a last shot. Blocked, preserving an Iowa victory. Indiana had a lead of 55-47.
Huge block by Boyd, who was overmatched by Newton down inside, just was able to get his hands on the ball.
And Indiana lead was at 55-47.
With ball, right?
With the ball, and they've gone now without a field goal for 4 minutes. 9-1 run by the Hawkeyes to tie it.
Really looking to get the ball inside to Jeffries, but Evans, who is playing so hard out there, just not letting him have any room. Comes a solid screen.
5 on the shot clock. Newton driving to the basket. Got it away with 1 on the shot clock.
All right, Pierce gave up. He made the block and then just let Newton recoil again. Tight ball game. Wow, inside.
It's going to be on Newton. It'll send Evans to the line for 2. And again, he's not a great free throw shooter.
So what Recker was trying to do is to convince the official that the foul was committed where Recker would be going to the foul line. The official waved it off and said, no, no, Evans going to the line. A lot of difference right there in terms of Recker being an 87% free throw shooter and Evans being a 62% free throw shooter.
6 out of 10 today.
You notice the difference between the way Henderson followed through and stayed with the shot. Evans dropping his hand immediately upon release. Very difficult to have the touch if you don't stay with it. A lot better on that one.
Indiana by 1, 58-57, 2 minutes.
Ooh.
Boy, Recker fights through a 5 pick. Body jarring.
Nice job by Henderson coming out on the hedge.
But he's called for it. It'll send Coverdale to the line for 2.
Watch that screen. There was nobody talking from Iowa, and Recker really took a shot.
Coverdale. 4 for 4 today at the line. Tom Coverdale from Noblesville, Indiana. He suffered a back injury after yesterday's game. Fought through it. Gritty 2 for 2 right there.
Well, he's had 2 big games in regular seasons against Iowa. Really important now for Iowa to keep going down inside. That 2-man game, Recker and Evans. Puts a lot of pressure on Jeffries, who tries to help out, which means Henderson can shake loose.
To the corner.
Nice fake.
Henderson steps into the 2. Way too long. Put back Pierce. Tipped around. Evans secures it this time. Recker wanted it in the corner.
What Mike Davis said is that a double dribble. He felt that Evans put the ball down, picked it up, and then started driving again. Timeout was called.
Boy, Steve Alford is furious. Timeout on the floor with 1:20 remaining. Hoosiers by 3. And championship final. Down 2, less than 10 seconds to play. Indiana's Kurt Haston attempting a 3. Would have been a winning 3, but Reggie Evans got a hand on it, blocked it. Iowa won the Big Ten championship 63-61. Watch Steve Alford here, Billy, after that timeout.
pops the top of that clipboard. The pencil came flying out of there. And I think he was as upset with his team as he was any call by the official there. Again, Recker's got Jeffries on him. He ought to get the ball right back to Recker and let him make a move off the dribble. Instead, it takes too long, and they get the switch. Here it is.
1 minute. Iowa down 3. 10 on the shot clock. Recker can tie it. Oh, he does. They're tied at 60.
Mr. Basketball, Indiana, nothing but net. Boy, was that on the bullseye mark, wasn't it, Jim?
Home again in Indiana. 60-60, playing for their tournament lives.
Evans doesn't want Jeffries to touch that ball. He's really chesting him. Differential about 20 seconds out here right now, so Iowa will get the ball back.
6 on the shot clock. Jeffries with Evans on him. Long jumper. Off the mark. Tipped up Newton. Front of the rim. Newton again. And a struggle for it. No whistle. Back to Jeffries. Back again. Recker calls time. Oh, what a play! Iowa ball. Recker preserves it for the Hawkeyes.
And there's 13 seconds to go. The Hawkeyes will have a ball to be able to go the length of the floor. How many times could Indiana touch that ball, Jim, and not be able to get anything to go?
Timeout in midair, and the Hawkeyes have a chance to move to the championship game on the next possession. Iowa and Wisconsin tied at 56, and it was Luke Recker hitting the winner with less than 2 seconds to play. Is there any doubt now they're going to that same basket today? Who will be the go-to guy for the Hawkeyes here, fighting for their tournament life?
Knowing that is probably what Iowa wants to do, let's see who the matchup is with Recker. Is it going to be Fife, co-Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year? And that's who it's going to be. So Pierce is going to be the one responsible for bringing the ball up the floor. Boyd goes down to help out.
And Indiana showing full pickup pressure here.
Key just to get the ball in bounds.
Pierce bobbled for a moment. 7 seconds to go. Winning shot for the championship game.
He better go to the hole.
Looking for Recker. Recker with 1 second gets it away. Oh, to the 2 days in a row. Can you believe that? Indiana, Luke Recker, the hero again.
Now wait a second. They're saying there's some time left, possibly.
It's over.
The officials are saying there may be some time. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Alford brings his team back. Recker is celebrating. They have no idea. They will check the replay.
They want to see if the basket actually counted, Jim, as referees have to do on last-second shots. This is unbelievable. 2 days in a row, the man from Indiana
Gets away from the man with the hobbled ankle.
Yes, he got it away. No question about that.
He got it away with about 1/10 of a second to play.
It is a good basket. It counts if it goes, and it goes.
So the Luke Recker Odyssey of journey that's almost even hard to condense to just a 2 or 3 minute soundbite. He comes back to his home state and beats Indiana at the buzzer, hitting a winning shot at the end for the 2nd straight game.
Well, Jim, as you watch this, is a perfect example for the referees to take a look at. And from this replay, it's easy to see 7, 6, 5, 4, 3/10 of a second, and it's gone.
It's interesting. Look at the 2 teams just waiting for the verdict. And here it comes.
Yes, and Steve Alford gets the signal, not the official.
And Mike Davis comes all the way down to give Luke Recker a hug.
We'll see it right here. Watch that clock. Ball's gone. Clock is not yet at 0.
Luke Recker with 10 of Iowa's final 15. They will play tomorrow for the automatic into the NCAA tournament. It's the only way they're going to get there.
Steve Alford. Another Mr. Basketball saying thank you very much. That's who I wanted to take the shot.
He knows all about senior heroics. He led Indiana to the national championship as a senior 15 years ago. Just an incredible personal battle here for Luke Recker to come back to Indiana. Booed every time he touched the ball here today, and hits the winning shot for the second straight game in this tournament. Iowa is in the Big Ten championship game. They have won 7 straight Big Ten tournament games. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Luke Recker for Iowa, A.J. Moye for Indiana. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It was 63-61 Iowa last year in the Big Ten final. It's 62-60 this time. Can't get a better finish than this. Luke Recker and Iowa are racing to the Big Ten championship game. Their tournament hopes are still alive.
Two guys, Mr. Basketball Indiana, grew up here in this state all your lives. Is there anything any better than that?
Never. I'll tell you what, I'm overcome with emotion right now. I can't describe to you how great this feels. Indiana's a special state. I appreciate everything they did for me while I was here, and I love playing basketball here, and the fans are terrific. It's been tough coming back to Bloomington and getting booed like that, but this feels great. I can't even describe to you how great it feels, Mr. Packer.
Steve, let me ask you a question. Yesterday, great diagram of a play. Today, another great diagram. Great coaching done by a guy that hits the shot, huh?
You become a great coach when you got great players in it, Billy. But, you know, I just feel for this guy. You know, he's been through a lot in his life and his career. And to have what's happening this weekend, I hope he's got one more left. We need one more, but he's had an incredible ride. And what can you say about his teammates? We've done a great job of getting him balls, screening for him. And we made the great plays down the stretch of getting on the floor and getting loose balls.
Well, go get rested. You got another one to go tomorrow. Congratulations. Nice going.
Thank you.
All right, Billy, and it is an important.
2 more wins to earn their first ever Big Ten.
Expect the unexpected.
This is a solid comeback.
The Cinderella team.
What a pass! Beautiful.
The buzzer beater.
Flying down the court.
The world's most exciting basketball. March Madness. Taking full court this month on Channel 3.
There you have it.
Don't miss a shot.
It's over.
Mike Clef, only on 3 News, Central Illinois' news leader.
And we welcome you to the Staples Center, downtown Los Angeles, the Pac-10 championship game of their postseason tournament. And it's off to a hectic and frantic start. End-to-end action, and USC leading Arizona by 1. 16-15 with 11:27 left in the half. Anderson of Arizona off the mark. This is Dick Enberg with Matt Gukas at courtside. 19,000 at the Staples Center. Partisan crowd for USC. Dupree, the Trojans, misfires, and here comes Stoudemire, who already has 11 points in this first half. 3 of those from long range. Beautiful pass to Anderson, back out to Walton for 3. Luke Walton, the son of the former UCLA All-American Bill Walton, he has 5.
That's not the strongest part of Luke Walton's game, just 27%, but he has been improving with that as the season is wearing on. But both teams, like heavyweight fighters, just punching away at each other, and so far it's been USC tempo basketball.
Both teams were 12-6 in the regular season conference play. They split the 2 games, each winning at home during the regular season. Well matched to Sam Clancy, the Pac-10 Player of the Year, hits his second goal, and it's tied at 18.
That's Sam's favorite spot on the floor, actually a little bit further out. He can knock down that jump shot. He's got a very feathery touch around the basket, and he's a very fierce rebounder.
There's that double team by Dupree and Glanville, and they force the held ball. Henry Bibby, whose teams have won back-to-back 20 wins. That's happened in a long time.
Of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Burger King. Proud sponsor of Championship Weekend on CBS. At BK, you got it.
Downtown Los Angeles and Staples Center. CBS Sports Championship Weekend presented by Burger King. And This Pac-10 championship between USC and Arizona, presented by Gateway. 20th in the nation, USC. Arizona ranked 4th team. SC with 2 very convincing wins against Stanford and Oregon, top 15 teams. Now look at Pacific Life's keys to success.
Well, USC relies so much on their senior leadership, but they've been getting a tremendous spark from their sophomores, Desmond Farmer and Jerry Dupree, especially at the defensive end. And they got to find a way to defend Luke Walton. Not so much for his scoring, but the fact that he passes the ball makes the game easier for everybody. That means don't forget Jason Gardner either, and rebounding is going to be a key. The Wildcats could get hurt here. They need all 5 men on the glass, especially if we're in that zone, and you've got to shut down Sam Clancy. He has averaged 29 points, 11 rebounds in the 2 games that these 2 teams have faced each other.
Clancy, the leading scorer in the season, over 19 a game. Number 3 scorer, number 3 rebounder in USC history, and also leads the Trojans historically in blocks underneath Dupree. Over Fox, and USC leads 2018. 6 for Dupree.
A couple of twins defensively in the backcourt now. Eric and Derek Craven. That's a nice penetration move by Derek, who has not played that much this year.
And they collaborate for the turnover. On the court currently, the 2 Cravens are twins, identical twins. Freshman Clancy, the top scorer in the middle, with Dupree and Farmer off the bench. He has given them some good minutes in this championship. Walton, Anderson, Fox, Bynum, a freshman from Chicago, and Gardner, the leading scorer for Arizona. Turnovers now. 5 forced by USC. There's the first forced by Arizona. And that's where Southern California has been outstanding all season long for Henry Bibby, leading the conference in turnovers and turnover ratio.
Yeah, the differential is like 12 a game for USC, 17 for their opponents. That is huge.
Stoudemire and Bynum in the backcourt, and Bynum has it stripped away, and then Bynum able to get his hands on it, but also on Clancy for a foul. Here's how they got here in 2 very impressive wins. SC over Stanford convincingly, and then the team that won the regular season here in the Pac-10, Oregon. A little easier trip for Arizona over Arizona State and 25th ranked California last night.
Reason Arizona employs this zone, they would love to keep the ball out of the middle. That's why big Luke Walton at 6'8" there to try to keep the ball away from Sam Clancy around the hoop.
Number 33, Desmond Farmer, the sophomore from Flint, Michigan. He had 19 against Stanford, 17 last night against Oregon off the bench. That's his first point. Walton has it stripped by Dupree. The depth of SC can really take them on a long run, and Clancy battles his way and scores. He said, that's what my dad, Sam Clancy, the former NFL defensive end star, taught me in the backyard. He said, take it strong to the iron,
I think
kid.
he said, be physical. Sam Clancy has unusually long arms, and it's amazing how he's able to score inside, especially last night against Cal, against a much taller front line. He has a knack of being able to get that shot off, as well as being a very good shot blocker.
32 straight free throws. It ends with that attempt by Clancy. An amazing run for Southern California, an ordinary free throw shooting team. They made 22 out of 22 last night. Here's another turnover as Fox can't handle Walton's pass. Check out the road to the Final Four games of impact delivered by UPS at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. So a run by the Trojans after it was tied at 18, 7 unanswered for the men in maroon and gold. Actually a 9 consecutive points scored. Arizona had led 18-16. And Gardner and Bynum break out 2-on-2 to Walton. Off the glass. That's the way his dad used to shoot him. 7 points for Luke Walton. 3.
USC does not waste any time. Of course, they're going to run off any kind of miss, any kind of block, any kind of steal, but they'll take it out of the net and shove it down your throat.
Well, that's Dupree. Can really get up there. Gardner, Dupree hawking him from behind, releases to Bynum. Fox, and that's going to be a charge on the big man. As down goes Rubenthal.
That's his second personal. 7:42 remaining in the opening half. SC by 5. Welcome back to Los Angeles. Turnovers creating more shot opportunities for USC. 7 more attempts, and they lead 25-20. And off turnovers, they've scored 11 points. Arizona, none.
Well, Dick, I don't think they're fatigue turnovers. I think it's just the outstanding defense of USC. Now, Arizona's got to be careful here. They got to look to run, look to try to get some easy baskets. But when they don't have that, they got to pull the ball back out and run their offense very patiently and try to torture USC a little bit. They're playing into their hands right now.
As you pointed out earlier, unaccustomed are these players and coaches to 3 straight games, 3 nights. There's Henry Bibby, like Lute Olson in his 6th season as the head coach.
And Arizona's got to find a way to get Jason Gardner some shots. He's still 0 for 1 from the field so far. He's a 21-point-a-game scorer, second best in the Pac-10 conference. Got to get him some looks.
Second behind Casey Jacobson of Stanford University. Granville, who has only 1 basket, and that was on a pass that went in. Another second chance for the Trojans, who hit the offensive boards, best in the league. Way outside, Farmer. Desmond Farmer, the Flint sophomore, has a couple of trays and 6 points. Biggest USC lead. And Lute Olson concerned. This is what Southern California has done throughout the latter part of the season and certainly in the first 2 games of this tournament.
You see Lute Olson pointing to his head. I think he's a little bit frustrated with his team right now that they are playing out of character. Normally they move the ball very well, and when they reverse it, they get good shots. But when they don't have their heads up, that's when they're going to get in trouble with some turnovers.
And a break in the action. 7 minutes exactly before the intermission. FC's biggest lead, 8 over Arizona. SC enjoying its largest lead, 8 points here with under 7 to go in the first half. Clancy against Walton, dumps it off to Blumenthal, and the big man can hit him from outside, and the Trojans run their lead to 11.
Blumenthal, an outstanding perimeter shooter, 41% from beyond the arc. Henry Bibby says he's his best post player. Well, I don't know about that when you got Sam Clancy on your team, but he's just trying to pump up Blumenthal. They need him desperately to be part of the mix.
15-2 run. Arizona trying to hold that, and Walton can't hit the bank. Anderson over the top for the foul. First foul on Anderson.
David Blumenthal, the senior from right here in Los Angeles, played with Brandon Granville at Westchester High School, so they know each other very well. He is an outstanding standstill shooter. Luke Walton trying now to get his team back in the game, looking more and more for his own offense. Now, he has done that throughout the season, but again, he is at his best when he's creating shots for his teammates.
Arizona committing 6 fouls in this first half. Only 1 for USC, the more aggressive defending team. And Lute Olson undoubtedly has noted that statistic. Farmer unable to connect over the top to Arizona. Well, other than freshman Celine Stoudemire, who has 3 threes and has hit all 4 of his attempts and 11 points, the rest of the Arizona team is 4 for 15. And hawked again in the backcourt on this pressure defense.
Yeah, it seems like for a while we saw last night against Oregon, a lot of times the pressure defense doesn't get anything done, but they just keep after it.
Oh, not a goaltend as Dupree picked it off the boards. Granville the other way to score, and the run continues for USC.
Well, it wasn't a turnover, but a block shot like that, I think everybody was looking around waiting for a call. You can't do that. You must sprint back on defense.
Well, look at the speed of this USC defense. That's why the folks here in Los Angeles feel they're geared for a big run in the tournament.
We saw this earlier, Jerry Dupree, and then getting the block, and Granville quickly to the other end.
5:24 before the break. USC with a lead. Quick defense has really shackled this Arizona offense in the last 5 minutes. Allowing only 2 points until Fry able to slip inside for the jam. His first points of the game.
Anytime USC goes into their zone, if you're patient, get the ball to the top, get the ball to the middle of the floor, you'll find some stuff inside.
17
17-2 run until Thrive's basket for the Southern California Trojans. Turnover, Walton with the intercept.
Second turnover only for the Trojans in this game.
Look at that hustle by Farmer, and now the double team and another turnover. And the lob for three, a little too tall on the pass. Walton and Farmer lean the shoulder in on Walton, and a foul is called, and that at least allow the players, coaches, and fans to catch their breath.
Well, there's a good look inside to the freshman Channing Frye, finding a huge hole in the zone defense, and you just cannot be this casual with the basketball. Jason Gardner not involved offensively right now, so the rest of his game is suffering. Arizona's got to get him some shots, or he's got to find other things to do to help his team.
Gardner over 20 points a game is 0 for 1 as Walton, a tough leaner. Anderson with a follow and a foul. It'll be the third team foul on SC, 6 against Arizona as we hit the 4:22 mark of this first half. First foul on Sam Clancy. He played with 4 of many minutes last night, played very intelligently in foul trouble.
Actually, Arizona has a height advantage right now with Richard Anderson, Channing Frye at about 6'10", 11, and Luke Walton at 6'8", but Henry Bibby, he doesn't care about height. He said, all I care about is quickness. I want people to react to the basketball, come up and make plays. We don't care about size.
Anderson has his 4th point of this opening half, and this season lead is flipped to 9. Third game as a Trojan starter since he was a freshman.
Man-to-man defense for Arizona, one of the few times, and maybe the first time we've seen it in this first half.
Down to 10 on the shot clock, and a blocking foul goes against Gardner of Arizona. That will send USC to the line, 1 on the bonus. First foul on Gardner.
I like that move by Lute Olson, going to a man-to-man defense. Oftentimes, when you just continually go back and play in that soft zone, you become very lethargic, and it shows up in other areas of the game. And once you get out to play man-to-man, get up on your man, put some pressure on the ball, the bodies become alive, and you become much more energetic in every area.
Granville, who has 4 points, he's the #9 scorer in USC history. Pac-10, a very strong conference, and SC leading in steals, turnover margin, offensive rebounds. We've seen all of that in the first half. Second in rebounds, first in offensive rebounds.
And I said earlier, that turnover margin +5 for the Trojans.
34-24, USC, just under 4 to go. Don't miss the premiere of an all-new Amazing Race. These new teams will see more of the world in one night than most people see in a lifetime. The all-new Amazing Race premieres on a special night Monday at 10, 9 Central on CBS. 35-24. They're late giving USC its last free throw, just under 4 minutes to go. Jason Gardner, who had his low-scoring game of the season against this SC defense, 8 points in January, and he has not scored in the first half.
Well, Henry Bibby was telling us last night that, yes, Luke Walton is the key guy. We would love to keep the ball out of his hands to cut down on his effectiveness, but we can't forget about Jason Gardner. They respect his outside shooting so much.
Well, that's really executing a game plan to throw a whitewash on the top scorer of the opposition, second best scorer in the league. Walton inside with a hesitation in the score. Luke Walton now with 9.
Anytime he gets the ball in the middle of the floor, he becomes multi-dimensional. Not only score himself, but then he can find three-point shooters, find people open on the baseline.
Oh, nice move by the left-handed freshman, Eric Craven. And it's 37-26, 4 points for him.
Eric Craven loves to slash to the hoop, and being a lefty reminds a lot of people here in Los Angeles of a former great Trojan, Harold Miner, the all-time leading scorer in USC history.
Long cross-court pass to Stoudemire. Anderson tries the 3, and the big man drops it down the bottom of the well. He has 7.
That's That's got to feel good for Rick Anderson. His offensive game has been dormant of late. Still doing a good job on the boards, however.
Appear to be chanting Fry with a hold inside.
Luke Walton just has such a good feel for the game. On the catch, head up all the time, sees the defenders, know he can beat them there. And then Eric Craven the other way, even though he's a diminutive guy, able to get that shot off quickly against the taller players.
Sam Clancy, one of the 10 finalists for the inaugural class award given to the top senior, stays in school, ignores all the other temptations, and plays loyally for his university 4 full years. 37-29, and the whistle for a hold goes against USC. And speaking of that class award, it'll be presented in Kansas City. We'll have the announcement for you on CBS in the Final Four. Here are the finalists: Dick Gow, a lot of nice name, Baxter and Dixon from Maryland, Udonis Haslem, Steve Logan, Cincinnati, led the Bearcats to 30 wins. As they won their 30th today, one of those will be the first ever senior class award. Gardner misses again. And a 3-on-1 break. Craven, and he gets it back on McCarron. And it travels. Lute Olson there to help the official make the call.
Well, from time to time, USC will get out of control going the offensive end, but that's the nature of the way they play. They just keep coming at you, both ends of the floor, never letting you come up for a breath.
Still way ahead in turnovers, 10-4, and a reach-in foul on Eric Craven of Southern California. Reminder, coming up singular at the half, Greg and Special K with today's college scores and highlights, and a big upset in the ACC coming up at singular at the half as Luke Walton can't hit inside. Fox battles, and it's out of bounds to Arizona, so the freshman Fox kept it alive. Henry Bibby. People forget he was a great scorer and point guard for John Wooden, winning 3 national titles, but he was also a tenacious defender. Inside to Fox. He was bumped. Luton ball, I believe.
Well, the Arizona Wildcats are getting some of their best looks on underneath out-of-bounds plays. They got finally a decent open shot for Jason Gardner, who put up a brick, and got an inside play for Walton and then for Fox.
That was the 6th SC team foul, so Arizona in the bonus from now on. Gardner still wearing a 0 in that scoring column. Stoudemire partially blocked by Craven. It goes to Anderson, and it's taken away by Granville. SC 17-2, converting turnovers. That's the big statistic in this first half. And this time, Stoudemire gets his hand on it, but out of bounds to USC. That comes Jerry Dupree for the Trojans, and Blumenthal given a rest.
Well, we say coming in, a couple of big areas of concern, especially for Arizona, would be the boards, because they play so much zone or man-to-man right now. It's a lot easier to block out in a man-to-man situation. Rebounding's been fine. Taking care of the basketball has been a horror.
Nice move by Granville, can't score. Fox with a rebound. Here come the Wildcats, trailing by 8. Walton, this is another one close in, but was fouled. Might have been Craven. And Henry Bibby out to challenge the call as he barks at the official across the way. Second on Eric Craven.
A very late call, but I think an accurate one here. Enough contact there. Looked like Luke Walton got hit right in the face, but there was a decided delay on the whistle. Luke Walton, you saw him talking to himself, clearly frustrated right now with the way that his team is playing. They are really out of sync, and this is a team that relies on being in sync. It's when they play their best ball, when they are moving, the ball is moving, getting their skip passes, getting the better looks at the basket.
Walton hits 1 out of 2 and has 10 points in the game. It's a 7-point USC lead. Granville, and didn't know quite what to do with it, and out of bounds to USC. Anderson hit the line. Down to 106 left in this opening half.
You know, Dick, with all the turnovers that Arizona has given away, and even though they've had points scored against them, it hasn't been like breakout points where the other team has gone down and getting an easy basket. USC has just gone down the other end and scored against set defense.
Farmer a little off balance, but able to gather himself and hit his 8th point. Anderson, he misses inside. As they're intimidating USC. Great leapers, quick off their feet. And Arizona 4 or 5 times appear to have easy lay-ins, couldn't score.
Well, Desmond Farmer often plays out of control, but he's so quick, so aggressive, and so hungry. And he just out-hustled everybody to that loose ball for the finish.
You're seeing the depth of Southern California. 9 men contribute strongly to their success. And a hold as Gardner was trying to break away from Dupree outside.
That's a good point, Dick. The fact that USC does have the depth, and Lute Olson was saying that last night. Sure, he was concerned about fatigue today. 3rd game in 3 days. Same thing for Henry Bibby, but he said clearly the advantage to Southern Cal because they have more players, and they're certainly used to playing this style of play much more.
And finally, the All-America for the University of Arizona, Jason Gardner, has a point. This junior from Indianapolis, averaging nearly 21 a game. He had a string of 32 consecutive free throws broken last night. And on the scramble for the rebound, out of bounds to USC, the call. 39-31, the Trojans lead. Shot clock off, 30 seconds left. Defense by Gardner to punch the ball into the backcourt. 9 seconds. Granville with 7. And an offensive foul. So with 6.8 seconds left, the offensive charge against Granville is first.
Well, that possession looked doomed from the very beginning for Henry Bibby's ball club there. Brandon Granville could never get into the offense. They obviously wanted to wait for the shot clock to wind down, but it was sloppy.
Walton and Anderson misses the tip. No basket on the second attempt. Now that's the end of the first half here at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. USC 39, Arizona 31. Now let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, thank you. Coming up on Singular at the Half, Clark Kellogg and I will run down all the
10 championship is presented by Gateway. And the USC Trojans leading by 8, 39-31 over Arizona. Jerry Dupree, Matt Gukas.
Well, the sophomore coming of age in this Pac-10 tournament, playing with a great deal of confidence. Just his 6th start of the year, knocking in jump shots, throwing them down inside. But this is what he's doing especially well. 2 big blocks last night, 4 blocks in the first half.
CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball continues after this word from your local station.
Old Navy. And by Planet of the Apes.
Just a few miles from downtown Los Angeles, the Hollywood sign that looms over the famed Hollywood Bowl as we look at the first half numbers, Matt.
Well, there you see the turnovers, the big story of the first half. Arizona primarily shooting themselves in the foot by being just not alert. But you got to credit USC's defense. It is tenacious, and the big difference in the points off the turnovers. And look at the block shots as Jerry Dupree having a field day around the rim with 4 blocks.
It's interesting, the 17-2 points off turnovers, and that's exactly what the run was in the middle of that first half for USC, outscoring Arizona 17-2. Arizona led by 2, and then this frenzied attack by Southern California's defense. How do you think that's going to play going into the NCAA tournament.
Well, again, luckily for Arizona, they're not going to see any kind of defense like they're seeing here today. But I wanted to say, Dick, if Henry Bibby's idea coming into this game was to not let Luke Walton help anybody, it has worked in the first half. No assists for Luke Walton. Took him 13 shots to get 10 points. That is not his game, and they have really shut down on Jason Gardner. Just 0 for 1 from the field, 1 point from the line.
And only 2 shots for Jason Gardner. They have really thrown a blanket around Arizona's top scorer. Tomorrow, championship weekend continues with the road to the Final Four, followed by the SEC championship and the Big Ten tournament championship games. And then we'll fill in all the brackets for you, the NCAA tournament 65 teams. You'll get it all on the NCAA basketball championship selection show, a full hour this year, presented by United Airlines. And here's a look at our bracket here in the Pac-10 as USC advancing with big wins over highly rated Stanford and the conference champion Oregon Ducks. Arizona here in the finals after wins against rival Arizona State and California last night. Great balance by USC in that first half. Blumenthal with 9, Farmer with 8, Clancy, Granville, and Dupree all with 6. Stoudemire, the freshman for Arizona, with 11, Walton 10. But again, their All-America guard, Jason Gardner, with 1 point.
Now, Luke Walton is so good at creating opportunities for his teammates, but a lot of time it's kind of an instinct type of thing. So I don't think he has really looked in particular for Jason Gardner, and I think he's got to come out starting the second half to make sure he gets his top scorer some good looks.
I would imagine they might have even, Lute Olson set up a play to get Gardner a good shot here to open the half. Walton, who often operates right there from the top of the key. Gardner inside to Fry. And reach in on Blumenthal of USC. That's his third.
By definition, Jason Gardner is the point guard on this team, but he's more or less a scorer, a guy that's going to spot up and shoot the 3. Occasionally will take the ball to the basket. He can find his way to the free throw line, and it's Luke Walton who's pretty much the point player.
And Gardner's 3-point attempt off the rim, and Blumenthal rebounds. Show you how effective Walton is passing the ball. He led the Pac-10. The next 8 players were guards, and he plays at 6'8" to 4. Here comes Gardner with Walton. And Walton will hold it up. Then drives the baseline, scores, and he's fouled. So Luke Walton cuts SC's lead to 6.
You can almost see the wheels turning for Luke Walton there. He really took his time. I think he wants to get Gardner another shot, but when he realized he wasn't moving, kind of just standing still, he said, oh, what the heck, I'll just take it myself. But he'd say that's 14 shots now for Luke Walton. He's capable of scoring in the 20s. He's been doing it a lot lately, but it's not the best way for him in Arizona to play.
So the 3-point play carves the SC lead to 5 early here in the second half. Meanwhile, Craven picked up his 3rd foul, so Blumenthal and Eric Craven both with 3 for USC. Clancy been fairly quiet as well inside to Dupree. Boy, can he elevate. And Walton with a big rebound to Gardner. Pulling up for the 3. Misses again, well off the mark, and Craven in the corner for USC.
Now you can see from our half-court vantage point, Jason Gardner, when he went up for that shot, Dick, he really swayed to his left about 3 or 4 feet. You're never going to be able to make shots on a consistent basis that way.
Gardner 0 for 4 now, shooting for Arizona. Clancy again, that 10-footer, spinning away toward the baseline is his shot.
He loves that left side. However, if you can get USC to constantly play in the half court, oftentimes their execution will become stagnant.
Salim Stoudemire is what Jason Gardner isn't in this game. That's 4 from outside for him. He leads all scorers with 14.
He came out of the box, knocked down his first 3 from downtown, and then made another field goal before he missed. Clearly made up for the absence of Gardner's offense.
Clancy trying to jam his way through 2 defenders and unable to connect. And Arizona with a chance, down by only 4. And Anderson from the side, well off the mark. Clancy rebounds, and then Granville, and the foul will be for the... Oh, it's going to be a charge on Granville. A hesitation, and then the signal offense foul. second on Granville.
Granville doesn't like that call. The official took a long time in making it here. And, of course, the question is, did Gardner give him enough room to catch and make that move? I think he did.
I do, too. Anderson. 2.5 minutes into the second half. SC's biggest lead was 13 in the middle of the opening half. Down to 4. Stoudemire clear for 17-footer. Tipped in by Anderson. Almost a goaltend. Clancy at the other end. Blocked by Walton. So a much more spirited attack from the Arizona Wildcats. Professor Lute Olson must have done some scolding at halftime.
Let's take a look up top here and see if Rick Anderson gets a piece of that. Now, pulled his hand back just in time. That basket should go to Salim Stoudemire.
8-2 run, but that's quieted as Clancy goes outside.
How about the side spin on that shot to be that accurate? Sam Clancy, almost like a slider going up there.
Anderson to Walton. Walton passing up a 15-footer. Stoudemire. Well, Walton knows what he's doing. He said, I'll give 3 for 2 anytime.
Well, you got to milk the hot hand, and you can't worry so much about getting Jason Gardner's shots when you got Salim Stoudemire on fire right now.
Closest Arizona's been since 9 minutes into the opening half. A 1-point game. Blumenthal for 3. Tipped outside and controlled by Granville.
With about 5 or 6 minutes to go in the first half, Lute Olson hauled off the zone and started going man-to-man. Since that, Arizona has looked much more like the good team that they are.
Granville misses from 3-point range, and we have a hold inside, and it's against Luke Walton, the official indicating that he used his hand to grab the leg of the SC rebounder.
Well, this is not unusual accuracy for Stoudemire. He comes in shooting 44% from downtown. He's the Pac-10 freshman of the year, and forget about the offense for a second. His own teammates voted him their best defensive player.
Salim Stoudemire, by the way, picked up the foul, not Walton, on the last play. As you see, Arizona coming out 4 for 7 shooting in the second half. Granville a little too high. One of those went in for a basket in the first half for the senior point guard of the Trojans. A chance for the lead for Arizona, trailing by 1. Walton working on Clancy. Skidding, and Clancy called for the leg foul, trying to deny Walton, and with that, 3 fouls for Clancy. So 3 Trojans now with 3 personal fouls. Timeout, a 1-point game. Lead. Down by 13 in the first half. SC has given up the lead, and then the turnover as Clancy unable to handle Blutenthal's high pass.
Dick, it's amazing when you get more aggressive with your defense, all of a sudden things go well for you at the offensive end. It's been this switch to a more aggressive man-to-man defense that has gotten the Wildcats going.
It's like in football saying, hey, the heck with all this passing. Let's run it. Let's get those offensive linemen to start feeling more aggressive. And a hold called against USC. Here to be Blumenthal.
On the other hand, USC, they have to get themselves going defensively right now. Another underneath out-of-bounds play as they find Luke Walton inside.
And Arizona up to 3 points. The last foul, by the way, on Derek Craven is first. The twin brother of starter Eric Craven. Clancy. Farmer off the bench. He has sparked UFC all season long. Big points off the bench. Clancy from the side. Way short. Anderson with a rebound. Oh my, Arizona on a 15-4 run.
You can see in the body language they're certainly a different basketball team than they were in the first 15 minutes of this game.
What if he gets hot? No, he misses the 3 on it. Isaiah Fox, the big freshman, able to bat it home for his first point. Anderson a near steal. And the Arizona fans on their feet.
Isaiah Fox waiting on the doorstep on the weak side, just taking a wild swing at it. Things are going the way of Arizona right now.
15-4 run for Lute Olson's Cats. We'll be
be back after this word from your local station.
Reminder, Wednesday on CBS, Hunter seems to be a natural-born leader, but others could challenge him. And on the other side of the island, it's a love fest. Don't miss an all-news Survivor on a special night, Wednesday, 8, 7 Central on CBS. What a second-half start for Arizona. 17-4 run led by Stoudemire and Walton with 19 and 15 in the game.
Well, USC clearly has to pick up their effort at the defensive end. Or on slow times down the floor, they got to go inside of their main man, Sam Clancy.
Arizona's biggest lead of the game, 5 at 48-43 with 6 minutes gone. Farmer can't hit the three. Fox with a rebound. It's all going Arizona's way. One shot each trip down for SC.
Well, the tall front line of Walton, Isaiah Fox, and Rick Anderson right now doing a good job on the board.
Inside to Walton, the recipient of a good pass from Anderson. Turnabout and fair play on a good team.
Luke Walton maneuvers that baseline as well as anybody in college basketball. Not lightning quick, but he finds the opening.
Clancy and the crowd can't hit. Fox pulls it away from two Trojans. Oh, that's a tough call on Fox. He was just trying to pull away, and they called him for a loose elbow. Oh,
wow. With a tippy-toe rebound as Fox couldn't get off the floor holding it there.
Wow. What's the man to do? He's got...
Walton sliding down the lane. A little bit of a hook move to get around Blumenthal.
And another missed shot inside for USC, and here comes Arizona with a 50-43 lead. Gardner way outside, and he misses again. He's now 0 for 6 in the game.
Lou Olson did not like that shot. No need for it. Too many other good things are happening when Arizona moves the basketball.
Blumenthal inside, and he is fouled. There's scores from around the country. Rick Anderson's second foul. Congratulations to those that joined the March Madness Parade. McNeese State, Boston University, Montana, Cincinnati, first to 30 wins. Bob Huggins Bearcats. David Blumenthal, his heritage links well back into USC's history. Blumenthal, his three greats grandfather, actually Isaiah Hellman, was one of the major landowners to USC, to the campus where the current University of Southern California campus exists. So Blumenthal should get some extra privileges. Free throw shooter, and it's now 50-45 Arizona.
Henry Bibby may go more and more inside to Blumenthal. Right now, Sam Clancy gets kind of one look in there, and then he starts to slide away from the basketball.
Walton aggressively down the lane, can't hit it. Rebound to Farmer. Outside Blumenthal, short on the three. Walton with the rebound. Eyes in the back of his head. He saw Farmer behind him. And Farmer picks up the foul, reach in on Gardner. His second.
Usually when the Trojans get cornered like this, they just become much more aggressive. We saw it looked like Oregon was in control of that game last night, and then with about 6 or 7 minutes, Oregon up 13. USC really started to put the clamps on. They got very physical, started reaching and grabbing. In fact, the coach, Ernie Kent of Oregon, very upset at halftime, felt that the officials let USC get away with way too much, but they'll do as much as they can get away with.
And the foul total now working against SC. That was their 6th. Only 3 for Arizona in the second. Finally, Jason Gardner with a wake-up 3. His first of the game. 4 points total. Blumenthal short on that attempt. And Fox, who's been a bear on the rebounds, and that's called dual possession. And Fox, who was wondrous about the foul, called him in traffic the last time. Can't figure that one out. Gardner's shot from the corner on the line. That's a 2-pointer. Timeout.
Greg, this one you gotta see.
Oh.
That's Leslie's first bath. Look at that little tushy.
That's
By Gateway. NikeBasketball.com. Pacific Life. And by Sprint PCS.
The Pac-10 Championship presented by Gateway, and that's how our producer Bob Madman Monsbach goes to the airport. Catch the red eye tonight. Larry Cavallina, our director. Welcome back to Los Angeles. 19,000 at the Staples Center. We've seen two very different halves. SC dominating with their defense in the first half. Arizona turning up the heat here in the second half to get the lead at 7 points.
And it's been the defense of Arizona. USC just 2 for 11 from the field in the second half, and it has turned into excellent shooting at the other end for Arizona. 9 for 15 from the field. If USC is not going to punch the ball inside to either Sam Clancy or David Blumenthal, they've got to spread the floor and let their wing guys try to attack the basket.
Farmer throws it outside to Clancy. Again, for those of you just joining us, the man with the ball now, Sam Clancy, voted by coaches in the league as the top player of this season in the Pac-10. Granville has it slapped away from behind by Gardner, captured by Clancy. Plenty of time on the clock, 15. The left-hander Farmer not there. Good rebound. And just into the game is Rory O'Neal, a freshman from Ridgecrest, California. He collected the rebound. Clancy from 18 rattles it home. Sam Clancy now with 12 points.
Well, Henry Bibby has chosen to go with some size. Rory O'Neal about close to 7 foot coming in here to get the big offensive rebound. All in all, Arizona has done a good job on the boards. Normally, Henry Bibby feels comfortable with a smaller team right now, but he's searching for a combination to get something going.
52-47, the Arizona Wildcats, as we're under 11 minutes to go here in Los Angeles for the Pac-10 Post-Conference Championship. After a delay of a dozen years, extra duty for these very contentious teams in the Pac-10. 6 should go to the tournament. Long pass to Stoudemire. Runner beats the buzzer. He's doing everything right. Salim Stoudemire with 21 points.
The skip pass for Arizona has been good to them, even in the beginning of the game. Every time they skip it, USC has been very slow to react, close out, and stop the open shot. That was a very difficult shot, however, by Stoudemire.
Inside, and Fox with a body called for the foul against Clancy.
Watch that shot clock, lower left-hand part of your screen, and you clearly see the ball out of the hands of Salim Stoudemire. Take another look. Terrific touch by Stoudemire, who really has been on top of his game, has been pretty quiet in the first 2 games of this tournament due to a hip flexor pull that he picked up early in the first game against Arizona State.
That last foul was a significant one, the 4th on Isaiah Fox. So he's taken out. Channing Frye now in the post. Less bulk for Arizona. Craven has it stripped, but the hold. Stoudemire got a piece of the wrist, his second foul. And in the Pac-10 postseason tournament, you see UCLA won the first in '87, then a run by Lute Olson's Arizona Wildcats. In fact, they're 11-1 in this tournament starting today, and then off for 12 years. Olson is not one of those supporting the postseason. We'll get into that when an opportunity provides itself.
I think he likes it a lot more today. And at this point,
basically, he says it's just too many games. You play each other 18 times and then 3 more in a tournament. You got to do what the Big Ten does and cut down the regular season to 14. And a foul inside, and it's Rick Anderson who is complaining. And he comes out, replaced by Dennis Lattimore. First time we've seen Lattimore, the 6'8", 250-pound freshman from Halstead, Kansas.
I think coming into this game, Lute Olson expected to use more players. A little bit concerned that his team may be tired since they played late last night, but when they got behind early, he really couldn't afford to go searching on his bench. He had to try to stay with his key guys, hoping that Jason Gardner would get something going.
Stoudemire, that last foul, he has 3. Farmer left alone for three. He has been deadly outside. Desmond Farmer with 11. He's not a starter, but he's their number 5 scorer, 9 points a game. And he's been hitting in the high teens much of these late games of the season. Gardner for three to answer. Not there. Rebound Clancy. Craven can't hit the follow. But Farmer can. 5 points in about 15 seconds for Desmond Farmer. He leads SC with 13.
And that three-pointer by Farmer not only ignited his team, but has it ever got the crowd going. What about that crowd last night in USC's win over Oregon? Really into it here in Los Angeles.
Well, it's a hometown crowd. We would say the 19,000, all but about 4,000 rooting for the Trojans. A whistle before the shot. As SC down by 7 quickly pulls within 2.
Very slow closeout by Channing Frye on the three-point attempt and make by Desmond Farmer. And now Arizona looking like a tired team the last minute or so. Slow reacting to the ball, reaching for the ball instead of grabbing it. And the sophomore Desmond Farmer going after it with gusto.
O'Neal with a foul, his first. Will be in the bonus from now on, both teams. As Luke Walton now with 18 points. And there's Daddy Bill. I've been with Bill when he's called Luke and his other sons. The first thing he always asks them is, how the study's going? You going to class? Are you doing okay? Then he says, how you playing?
Well, Bill, he's got to know how Luke's been playing. Everybody around the country, at least in this western part of the country, I've seen him have a terrific junior season. And really, when he came out of high school, I don't think that much was expected from Luke. He has developed into a terrific all-around player.
Wasn't even heavily recruited by his dad's alma mater, UCLA. 8 minutes to go. Arizona with the ball and a 4-point lead. Luke, one of 4 Walton sons, all to play college basketball. Arizona a little more patient with the clock, with the lead, down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gardner shut off by Granville. Walton for 3, way off the mark. And unable to save it, Lattimore in the corner. And without a timeout, 7:39 to go. Luke and Bill, Walton showing his colors today in L.A. Los Angeles down to 7:39 to go. Arizona by 4.
Now, second half highlighted by outstanding Arizona defense, although it's starting to wane a little bit. Outstanding shooting for the Cats. And look at the turnovers there, only 1. And look at this down here. Sam Clancy does 12 points and 5 rebounds. In the other 2 games that these two teams played, it's 29 a game for Sam Clancy and 11 rebounds. They have shut him down. I talked to Sam before the game. I said, what are they doing with you or not doing? He says, the zone doesn't work against me.
He likes the inside work, although Arizona be able to shut him off for most of this game.
And I think a lot of it has been the man-to-man defense that the Cats went to late in the first half and all of the second half.
SE ball, 4 points down, 7.5 to go. Clancy, Granville, Farmer, Craven, and the freshman O'Neal for USC. Craven is lightning quick. Sets up O'Neal. Rory O'Neal's first basket, the applied mathematics major, and he was at the right angle for that pass.
Well, there's the spread 4 I was talking about, Dick, for guys like Farmer and Craven. They slash to the middle of the lane so quickly that the defense gets broken down and you create an easy shot for a teammate.
Anderson, the pump fake. Walton won't take the 3. Spins inside for the 10-foot runner, and the rebound, Eric Craven, and a foul on Rick Anderson, his 3rd. And that'll give SC a chance if they can make the 2 free throws to tie.
Well, you never want to let these wing guys get to the middle because that's when you get hurt. And in that case, you create an easy shot for Rory O'Neal, a guy that's rarely used, and he's not going to be able to get a shot on his own unless he gets it off the offensive board. So defensively, you want to keep people out of the middle if you can.
Eric Craven down at the end where his mother is sitting, Sonia, rooting for her twin boys. She's trying to encourage Henry Bibby to get them both on the court at the same time, these 2 identical twins. She says they'll play even harder when they're out there together. And Henry Bibby told us, you know, she's right. In practice, they really are better when they're both playing on the same side at the same time.
Even though Eric Craven has had the better year, Henry Bibby thinks Derek Craven is really going to come on next year. He's had injuries in the early part of this season.
Rick Anderson, the big man, to be able to step outside at 6'9" and hit the three. He has a dozen. Granville rattles out. Try with the rebound. Walton behind the back dribble. Behind the back dribble again. And a foul. Oh, that's got to make Daddy smile a little bit. Did you see that, Mom? Look at what he's doing.
Shades of a former teammate of Bill Walton, Danny Ainge, many, many moons ago, going end to end. Of course, that was to win a game at the buzzer, but Luke Walton demonstrating his ability to handle that rock with either hand.
Granville picks up the foul, his third, and Walton's totals now hit 20. What a tournament he has had. He's literally improved with every game this year. He has been in double figures both games here, 26 and 20, and again over 20 today.
I asked Luke before the game, I said, any fatigue? He tired at all? He said, nah, you kidding me? It's a championship game. Who'd he sound like?
And a whistle as contact in the lane. And that's going to go against USC, yes. As they walk to the other end, a reminder, Sunday on CBS, a story of bravery and survival. Incredible footage, folks, from inside Ground Zero. Robert De Niro will host 9/11 Sunday on CBS tomorrow night, presented by Nextel, and with limited interruptions. Brandon Granville now with 4 fouls. And to the other end to shoot, Channing Frye, the 6'10" freshman from Phoenix. His mother, Karen, a former newscaster in the Phoenix area. Rebound, Blumenthal. Up by 7 Arizona as SC goes on the attack. 6 minutes to go.
Sam Clancy has had a devil of a time trying to get good catches inside where he usually does his most effective work.
Granville gets Gardner in the air and fires the three. Brandon Granville now with 9 points, and SC pulls within 4. Oh, close to a turnover as Walton saves. 5:25 to go. Walton finds Gardner for 3. Bingo!
So calm, so patient, so easy for Luke Walton. His vision is outstanding, and his anticipation of where open people will be.
O'Neal can't hit, but Blumenthal with a follow. David Blumenthal now with 13. Less than 5 minutes left.
And right away, Lou Olson getting Isaiah Fox off the bench, unhappy with the way his Wildcats are going for the defensive rebounds.
4 minutes, 53 seconds left in regulation. A 5-point game. Walton to Gardner for 3.
I'd heard stories, but I had to see it with my own eyes.
I can't send it to you till I get to the hotel tonight.
Can't get information to your coworkers, so you're to blame.
Yeah, how did you know?
May I?
As you look at Lute Olson, 15 consecutive 20-win seasons for the gray-haired mentor of the Wildcats. Here's our CBS Sportsline stat of the game. As you see, second half shooting percentage, Arizona way up near 60% as they've rallied from 13 down in the opening half to take a current 5-point lead. 4 minutes, 53 seconds left. Get complete game stats, cbs.sportsline.com or America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. SC not using a lot of pressure, full court pressure in the second half. It was very effective in the first half.
No, and I don't think it's because USC is tired. It's just Henry Bibby keeps going to different things. The big problem is they can't keep the ball out of the hands of Luke Walton.
And Walton finds Gardner. He knows he's got a man who's about to get hot after an ice-cold first half, and Gardner back-to-back threes. His 100th three-point field goal this season, that last shot. Arizona's biggest lead, 8 points, and Anderson rebounds a missed shot by Farmer. Walton breaks loose. What a catch! He can't hit the shot, and the follow by Fox, and Walton slow getting up. He may have injured himself. He limps back on defense. And Dupree gets the easy shot and a foul. And Walton still limping. That could be critical for the Arizona Wildcats as you look ahead to the upcoming NCAA tournament.
Well, you don't want to miss your opportunities for long plays there, but it looked like Walton, and he was, not necessarily undercut, but hit hard in the thigh area after he released that shot.
And then Dupree fouled by Anderson. That's 4 fouls on Anderson. Walton, and you showed why he's such a great passer and all-around player, and why Henry Bibby, the SC coach, voted for Walton for the Pac-10 Player of the Year. What hands! That was an incredible catch.
And Jason Gardner, his teammate, was asked who he would vote for. He said Luke Walton. He said, well, you can't vote for anybody on your own team. He said, well, then I'm not going to vote for anybody.
A three-point play for the SC Trojans. Farmer at 69-62. Back in L.A. with a reminder tonight, CBS is the place for great drama, starting with Touched by an Angel, followed by The Agency on a special night, and Saturday's #1 drama, The District. It's all here tonight on CBS. Dick Enberg with Matt Gukas at the Staples Center. 19,000 entertained by a fast-paced, at time frenzied action as the Pac-10 will decide its post-tournament conference champion. Will it be Southern California or Arizona? USC using a great defense, smothering Arizona, ran off to a 13-point lead in the first half, but Arizona has rallied right from the opening bell in the second half, and led by Luke Walton, has moved into a 69-62 lead. Dupree's three-point play cutting into the 10-point advantage, and Walton double-teamed on the pressure from USC has called a timeout. Lute Olson's Wildcats, will they win another Pac-10 postseason title? A reminder, folks, what a day tomorrow on CBS. 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock for you out on the West Coast. We start with an hour of Road to the Final Four, then the SEC Championship, Mississippi State and Alabama, then the Big Ten postseason championship, the Hawkeyes and the Buckeyes, and then at 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the West Coast, the NCAA selection show. 1 hour, we'll find out who the 65 teams are, and we'll fill out the brackets. Most certainly these two teams will be part of the championship picture. USC went all the way to the Elite Eight, lost to Duke last year after some big wins, including Kentucky. And Arizona, of course, advanced all the way to the finals, only to lose by 10 to the Blue Devils. There you see the game situation. USC just has completed its 10th foul. Eric Craven, his 4th of the game, so double bonus as Gardner toes the stripe.
They're trying to get an edge in the backcourt before the ball was inbounded. You can expect Henry Bibby, now the coach of USC, to pretty much empty the bucket defensively. They'll throw everything they have to try to get something going right now. Hack a little bit, get some steals, get some easy baskets. So more important than ever in this game for Arizona to make sure they handle something they didn't do well in the early part of this game against that kind of pressure.
And as expected, Jason Gardner coming alive here in the second half after scoring only 1 the entire first half, has a total of 11 in the second half. What a move inside with a little man. 5'9" Brandon Granville, the senior, he has 11.
Lute Olson wanted a 3-second call. A walk could have been called.
Stoudemire takes it in strongly, and he is hammered. That'll send Salim Stoudemire, the freshman, to the line for Arizona.
Watch Brandon Granville, see if he keeps his pivot foot down as he knifes between the two defenders here. I don't think he walked, and I don't think it was 3 seconds. Just the little guy was able to outlast the taller Arizona players. What a game Salim Stoudemire is having for Arizona.
Showing the nation why he was the top freshman in this conference. That's his 22nd point, well above his average of 12.5.
6 years ago, his cousin Damon Stoudemire, who played for Lute Olson at Arizona, said, hey, I got a cousin. He's only 13 years old, but he is a player.
And what a free throw shooter, hitting 92% on the year. He's only missed 8 free throws in 100 tries this year. 63-64. SC needs to generate some offense with the clock ticking down to the 3-minute mark. And Blumenthal, the veteran 6'7" forward, has 16. That one a 3. Fox helping out of the backcourt to Gardner. And it's batted away. Farmer denies Anderson.
Blumenthal, I think, first initially looking inside to Sam Clancy, basically hiding behind the defense. You think of Blumenthal as strictly a standstill shooter. He has shown that he can put the ball on the floor and find his jumper.
Back in Los Angeles with a reminder tonight, CBS, the place for great drama. Touched by an Angel, then the Agency on its own special night Saturday night, and then Saturday's #1 drama, The District. It's all here tonight on CBS. Arizona leading USC 73-67, under 3 to go. 2 timeouts for each team. Double bonus already for Arizona. 18 fouls against the Wildcats. Oh my, Farmer trying to make the defensive play, levels Stoudemire, and that's the 4th foul on Desmond Farmer.
Almost like a free safety in football. Desmond Farmer going for what he feels is the loose ball up for grabs. Anybody can go after it, but a major collision there.
He was a football player at Flint's Northwestern High School, played quarterback and wide receiver, so he knows how to go for that ball. But it cost him 2 free throw attempts, and Stoudemire, a brilliant freshman shooter, now with 24 points to lead all scores. And in case you've not been with us, this young guy is 8 for 9 from the floor, including 4 3-pointers.
And what a game to break out in a big way with Jason Gardner, a guy that's normally going to get you 20, 21 points a game, ice cold in the first half, has warmed up here in the second half.
Stoudemire wearing number 20, the same number that his cousin Damon wore with the Wildcats, and a lot of folks forget that his brother Antoine was a top scorer at the University of Oregon, led the Ducks when he played there. Quite a basketball family there in Portland, Oregon.
USC can't waste any time right now. They got to attack the basket, punch it inside to Blumenthal or Sam Clancy. And at the other end, if Isaiah Fox touches the ball, he's only a 59% free throw shooter. Wouldn't be surprised to see USC hack at him.
Granville loses the ball as he tries to drive the lane, and who but Luke Walton there to pick it up. Inside to Anderson, misses the easy layup. Blumenthal sends Granville the other way. 2:20 to go. Inside finally to Clancy, a rare opportunity. Misses the tip, Anderson gets it for Arizona. They're down to 2:10.
That is rare. Sam Clancy, usually a terrific finisher, even against taller players inside, just kind of put that up with a hope shot.
2 minutes left. Clancy 6 for 16 shooting today, well under his near 50% shooting. Oh, almost stolen by Granville. And out of bounds to Arizona. The SC fans don't like that.
Well, only 1 turnover in this second half. And again, it looked like it was off USC.
Henry Bibby battling, though, for the call and for the next call. And the official saying, Mr. Bibby, your seat is right over there. Bibby, a tough love coach, and what a job he's done. We mentioned that Lute Olson has won 20 games, 15 straight years, and there's a technical foul against Bibby. And just to finish the thought, Henry Bibby has done something that no USC coach has accomplished since 1940, to win back-to-back 20 games last year and this year. So he's really brought this program to where I think they're a feared team going into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, again, they're intense pressure. You mentioned the tough love of Henry Bibby. He wears his guys out. He challenges them all the time. He throws them out of practice. He makes them work extremely hard, but they love him. But this is not the time to be getting a technical foul with your team down by 8 points, trying to come back with just 1:50 to go.
And Mr. Automatic, Salim Stoudemire, the freshman, hits them both and now has 27 points and builds Arizona's lead back to 10. And Arizona's ball. Here's Craven, the freshman. Walton being hawked by Blumenthal. Stoudemire. Well, you're really seeing two terrific freshmen here. Stoudemire of Arizona. Craven, while he hasn't scored much, his defense is something to behold. Here he is on Gardner. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. No basket. The foul before the shot.
Henry Bibby was objecting to the call. He thought the ball was off Arizona, and he's been chirping right in the ear of that official, basically daring Charles Range to call the technical foul there. And you know, it's not the worst thing in the world sometimes to get a technical foul, but not this late in the game. His team is really struggling to find points to begin with. Their defense isn't forcing the turnovers like they were in the first half, and you just can't give 2 points away that easily.
Luke Walton now with 22, and Arizona shooting lights out at the free throw line. That makes them 20 for 23 in the game. That'll take a miracle now for USC. Uncontested, Granville drives for a layup in his 13th point, back to a 10-point lead.
The last thing that Arizona wants to do right now is stop the clock and put USC on the line where they can score with no time running.
Gardner, a junior, thought about going to the professional ranks after a sophomore season. Everyone feels wisely stayed at Arizona, and they're hoping in Tucson he'll come back as a senior. Could well be a player of the year next year if he does. Luke Walton. Stoudemire punctuating a tremendous second half by Arizona as he has a season-high 29 points. Granville's runner, and we're down to the final seconds, and the Arizona fans cheering a very impressive performance in this second half. This Wildcat team losing 3 players that could have come back, had eligibility, and Lute Olson with 3 juniors and 6 freshmen has built this team back to this kind of incredible performance. What a coaching job by that man.
And Lute Olson gives most of the credit to his junior core, in particular Luke Walton and Jason Gardner. He says he beats up the freshmen, does Lute Olson, and it's the juniors that pat him on the back and keep him in line. But with 3 juniors and 5 freshmen in the rotation, a remarkable season for Lute Olson and the Cats.
Cosmetic basket by Farmer, and Gardner will bounce out the final second. Oh my, Arizona again. Their 4th consecutive Pac-10 postseason tournament title, a 10-point victory with an incredible second half, 20 minutes led by that man Luke Walton and the freshman Salim Stoudemire. Chevrolet, most valuable players of the game are David Blumenthal, the senior veteran with 16 points and 8 boards for Southern California, and freshman Salim Stoudemire. He kept Arizona hopes alive when Gardner was able to score only 1 point the entire first half. And so for Matt Gokas, this is Stick Enberg from Los Angeles with our final score: Arizona 81, Southern California 71. Tonight on CBS, Touched by an Angel, followed by The Agency and The District. I can't wait for the NCAA tournament tomorrow afternoon and evening. We'll find out all the teams in the bracket. Watch CBS, the home of men's NCAA basketball championship.
Nicely for Brown. Couldn't finish. And Ontario Lett comes away with the rebound. On the push, Knight. Nobody's touched the ball, and Jim Calhoun hates that.
Well, we saw it once before on the replay. Double team in the pressure, and they leave Knight alone. This time, everybody turns their back on the ball. Butler tried to wrap around. It was knocked away. After Connecticut's 4th turnover, Pittsburgh a chance to take the lead. Nice feed. Let it in.
force going up. It's a long first step, and it's a pre-shot foul on the floor.
Well, if Emeka Okafor is going to the hole, you know the strategy was everybody take it to the basket. Don't settle. Again, we talked about not turning your back. And again, the defense a step too late right there as Knight once again gets into the paint. You've got to focus on where the ball is. You've got to see Knight. Don't let him get past the dotted line. Once he gets into that orange, you're in trouble.
Foul on Lett was his first. Ontario takes a seat. Pittsburgh goes small here now. There is Gordon, who has been red hot in this tournament and has played terrific games. His first 3 in Madison Square Garden as a college player. Freshman twirling travels. 5 Husky turnover.
Well, Mike, you mentioned Pittsburgh goes small, particularly on the defensive end. Ben Howland doesn't really mind that because he's got a lot of guys who are very strong. And when you're strong and you know how to move people out of their comfort zone, utilizing that strength, it helps your defense. And right now he's going small because UConn able to beat his guys off the dribble on the perimeter. He needs more quickness out there.
It's great to hear a strong contingent from Western Pennsylvania here. Pittsburgh has not been well supported at the Big East Championship because they haven't played very well until the last 2 years. They sold more tickets to this event than any time before in school history, and their fans are being heard tonight. Zavatskis missed the 3. The rebound for Butler. Malik Brown struck down by Knight at the top. Put away for 2.
Just a nice job, reverse dribble by Talik Brown. Even though Knight had anticipated him going to the right, he did a nice job of adjusting. And I think that Talik Brown goes to the basket, finishes better when there is contact than where is.
Donatas Zavatskis, 6'8" junior, whose hero was Arvydas Sabonis when he was growing up in Lithuania. Butler gives up the dribble. Brown, plenty of time out high. They're banging underneath, and they say too much banging from Mike Hayes. The junior for UConn picks up the personal. Official timeout, under 12, the co-players of the year, meeting for the one thing that matters, the championship. Butler has 7, Knight 6, and a couple of assists. Good start. Election Sunday hits, and we see the brackets in less than 24 hours. The Pittsburgh Panthers, winners of the Big East West, have won 9 in a row, including defeating the team that they lost to in the title game last year, Boston College, and Miami, scoring 76 and getting good field goal production from the field in the first 2 games in the Garden. Meantime, the Panthers' success has been mirrored by UConn. Close competitive games, as Len alluded to at the top. Ben Howland and Jim Calhoun have coached all year in a league that was hard to figure out who was going to win on a night-in, night-out basis. They found a way to get 13 of the 16 conference victories.
Well, a lot of it had to do with the maturity level, young players stepping up, as well as a foundation of tough defense, as well as unselfishness.
Turnover by Pittsburgh. Villanova and Notre Dame were the victims for Connecticut. You see the Huskies were very good from behind the arc, and this is not a Connecticut team that relies on the 3. They only average 4 made 3s per game, but Ben Gordon has almost single-handedly taken care of that, hitting 4 3-pointers in the first game and 3 in last night's semifinal win over Notre Dame. Gordon, Tony Robertson are in the backcourt now as Talik Brown gets a breather. Selby will not create offense from out there. 7 to shoot. Nothing going on. Without Brown, they struggle a little bit in the half court. And the turnover is forced. It becomes a foul here on the Huskies. And Brandon Knight looking at that injured hand as he gets up slowly. Let's go to Dave Bryant.
Well, Mike, since the Pitt coaches found out they were going to play these UConn Huskies at the championship game, they have been dedicated at their team hotel with preparation. They watched 15 game tapes, guys, and you can guess, didn't get any sleep. A combination, a little bit of soda and a lot of coffee kept them up. They had about a 2-hour nap today. Bottom line, they've got to keep the fast-paced arsenal of UConn in check. They feel like Caron Butler's been a sleeping giant so far in this tournament. They don't want him to wake up and explode.
Dave, maybe that's why the Pittsburgh coaches didn't exactly say a great hello to myself or Lenny or Bill Raftery if he was in the building. They've heard enough of us over the last couple of days. This is Out of Bounds off Pittsburgh. Or in the last 24 hours, 15 game tapes. That's a lot in a short period of time.
Hey, but you know what? That's what it's all about. Preparation, study, getting guys acclimated to what it is they're going to face. And the more you look, the more you find, the better able you to prepare your team. And you got to hand it to coaches. Some coaches like to coach by instinct, others by experience. You got to study.
Gordon missed the three. It's out of bounds off the Huskies. Panther ball. Ben Howland's staff is Jamie Dixon, who's been with him for 15 years. Barry Rorson, who's a Brooklyn-born New Yorker. And Ernie Ziegler. The sideline suits for the Panthers, who got some serious Starbucks time last night and this morning.
The picks outside, everything involved to get Knight loose.
And Gordon ends up committing the foul. If your feet are not fast feet against Knight, you're going to get in foul trouble.
Well, you got to be able to use your hands. When you're down low, you've got to spread your arms, make yourself wider to deter the passes inside. But out at the top, you got to give the man guarding Knight right there, Ben Gordon, you got to give him some help, and you can't get there late.
Zavastis hit a three before, rims out that one. Julius Page comes in to get the rebound. Ontario left, flashing and hitting from 14. Junior college transfer who was signed in July and reminds some veterans of this league of a little taller Danier Abrams. Remember the Boston College wide load who was just tough to stop in the middle? Lett doesn't have as much offensive ability as Abrams yet, but he has a similar game. This is the three. UConn's shots have not been good ones in the last few trips.
Well, they've stopped making penetration to the basket, and part of the reason is Pittsburgh has now begun to sag. Instead of playing that belly-to-belly D, allowing the drive off the dribble, they're backing off, daring UConn to take that long shot.
Butler used the behind-the-back to shake Knight. And Robertson with, again, that solid, fast power dribble to the goal. At Madison Square Garden, Connecticut trying to win the Big East Championship once again, looking for its 5th title. Pittsburgh looking for its first ever Big East Championship. A good shooting start for both teams on title night.
Well, this is a tough matchup right here for UConn. Ontario Lett just too quick for Justin Brown. He's going to be the focal point of the offense as long as Brown's in the game.
Brown's first, 6th on the team.
Take a look right here. Here's the transition game. This is what UConn wants to do. And Butler gets all the way in the paint before he finds Robertson. Again, no one stops the guys at the dotted line and letting them get in too far, both teams.
One more free throw coming for Ontario Lett, who had 13 on 6 of 7 from the field last night. Emeka Okafor, the 124 block man this year, comes in. You know, Lett is at the line, even though he's from Pensacola, Florida for his junior college days, grew up watching Big Monday, watching the Big East on TV. So even though his roots are not Northeastern or Western Pennsylvania, he came into this tournament with a great understanding for the emotions that it takes. The chance for your legacy to be cemented tonight, because as Len and I have said the last 5 years on this championship night at the Garden, you'll be judged by what you do in the NCAA tournament, but nobody will ever take away the fact that you won a title at Madison Square Garden. Few people can say that in their athletic career.
Well, the winners coming to this game wanting to win, period. I mean, there's no thinking about a second chance in the NCAA tournament. If you're going to play this game, you might as well win it.
Selby showing you that despite the size and strength, he's a good athlete. Staying with Zavastis. Page double. Troutman can hit that.
The backboard or the rim?
He really can hit it, trust me.
Oh, I know he can.
Butler on a drive, almost trying to do a little bit too much right now as the Huskies have hit an offensive stall. Understandable in this city. Pittsburgh rivalry.
I never worry what people say about me.
What the hell are you thinking about out there?
I'm not nice.
If he throws an elbow, you hit him in the mouth!
Nice is for women's magazines.
Right back to where we started, right?
Nice is for losers.
Brian Dennehy is Bobby Knight.
Don't you kids get it? Playing my game is what got you here.
A season on the brink. Premieres tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
What successful man doesn't have a temper?
Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
You are a wingmaster.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Beer, sports,
All the essentials.
Accidents are a fact. They can happen at any time. If you have been hurt in an accident, you may have the right to collect money. Call the law offices of Warren Dance at 1-800-679-6868. Call them. They will act now. They don't get paid until they collect money for you. Call 1-800-679-6868 for a free visit. Call the law offices of Warren Dance, known to help injured people.
You know, Kent State is not a team you want to see opposite your team on Selection Sunday in the MAC final in Cleveland. They're taking care of Bowling Green. Trevor Huffman to Eric Thomas, trying for an 18th consecutive win. They are up 5-10. That's a pretty good team, fellas.
Really good, Chris. 25-5 on the season. RPI of 31 out of the Mid-American Conference. Gary Shandling is here in the building on this Big East Championship night.
Oh, Larry Sanders. I love your show, babe.
Very nice. Rip Torn not here. Sitting next to Gary. Hey, now. Nice. If you've never seen that show, we apologize. Butler offensive foul, and that is Karan's second.
Very controlled ball that starts with Ron Butler of Connecticut. His first team.
Again, UConn looking to attack off the dribble. Much better job of the Pittsburgh defense to move their feet, take away the angle.
We'll see what Jim Calhoun's going to do. Ben Gordon's at the scorer's table. Not necessarily going to get Butler here, but we'll find out. Brandon Knight not handling until now here on this possession. 15 to shoot. Troutman, is he trigger shy after missing the last one? Okafor with a great block. Troutman beat him, thought he was going to get the goal, and Okafor said no. Brown lost it, but it found Butler.
Ron Butler has that knack of sticking around, getting his hands on outlet passes and converting them. But more than anything else, lost opportunity for Pittsburgh. Again, they make a pretty good stop on Brown and just give back the points. But when you have two teams as accomplished as both these teams are offensively, the game really becomes a battle of defense. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Zavotskis 3. That's 2 tonight. Fortunatus 33% shooter on the season.
Another mobile player with size, but also range that's going to give UConn some problems if Johnny Selby doesn't get down and play him on the perimeter.
Selby tried to take him right to the place where Johnny's most comfortable, but could not convert. The Huskies are 8 of 18 from the field now.
Good job by Robertson that time to cut Page off on the sideline.
Troutman in close, challenged Okafor again, and Amaka takes it away.
Big time play.
Robertson for 3. Butler got it.
Ron Butler.
11 for Karan. He's been in double figures every game his Connecticut career, except one against Texas in January of his freshman year. Ben Howland takes timeout. His team leads by 3. The championship week presented by 7-Up wraps up tomorrow. Wow. You may see 3 of the 4 1 seeds. Before you fill out your brackets, you may want to watch these teams with your own eyes. NC State Herb Sendek, fabulous win today over Maryland. They take on Duke. Oklahoma, Kansas, and some think Oklahoma might be playing for a 1 seed, especially if Duke loses. Interesting thoughts from some of the media folks here in New York. That's tomorrow on ESPN.
Well, Emeka Okafor, again, big defensive play right now. This should put a stop to a lot of the attempts of Pittsburgh trying to get the ball inside. You know, it's the second big block that he's made, and when you start getting into a rhythm as a shot blocker, the other team recognizes that, they start to avoid you, and when they start to avoid you, you start making mistakes.
For some perspective on the block numbers for Okafor, The all-time freshman record in college basketball, Sean Bradley in '91 with 177. Okafor now has 126. They've just changed that last shot. Not originally credited for a block, but they did give him one, correctly so. This time Ontario got him in the air, which you rarely see from the polished freshman.
Well, he stepped outside and he brought Okafor outside. That's a whole different area for a shot blocker. You want to be under the basket to apply your trade. You don't want to go outside on the perimeter and have to follow a guy who's pretty handy at putting the ball on the floor.
And Lett's the leading scorer for Pittsburgh, Len, now with 8 points.
Nice job by Orlando Lett. Ontario Lett. Wrong city.
Thinking Orlando Antigua. Pittsburgh days gone by.
I was thinking about guys named after city.
Or provinces. Brown did not hit the rim, took a shot clock violation on Pittsburgh.
45-second shot clock violation.
Again, watch Lett draw Okafor out, and now he does a nice job. Get him off his feet, head and shoulders fake. And just a nice job of powering up. And when you have a guy, again, with that size and that mobility, all it takes is a couple dribbles from the perimeter. And here he goes again.
Next time he shuffled the feet. Turnover number 10 for Pittsburgh. They average 14 turnovers per game. Ben Howland was the coach at Northern Arizona. Took them to the NCAA tournament. They played a terrific game against Cincinnati. They lost by 3. One of the 3 consecutive years that Howland took Northern Arizona to a Big Sky title and 21 victories.
So that's a nice recovery by Ben Gordon, who had slipped and still had presence of mind to reach out and grab it and keep this offensive set alive.
Selvey and Zavotskis has been a nice matchup. Johnny hasn't been able to convert because Zavotskis is long defensively.
So Zavotskis did a nice job of forcing Selvey out of that paint. Selvey likes to get both feet in the area, and he's about 2 steps off that lane, and he's not nearly as effective.
When the beauty offensively for Pittsburgh with Page and Brown, Knight doesn't have to dribble it up every time. Sometimes you can get it later on in the shot clock and let him create. Timeout, Connecticut. 7, the largest Pittsburgh lead of the first 16.
Boy, what a marvelous read by Brandon Knight. Let's take a look right here. Watch him split the D right there. Okafor showed much too early and created a little bit of space. You saw right there, Okafor stepped out before Knight had really crossed his picker. And once you do that, you step out too early, there's a little bit of space that the guard can dump through. And it's all about the ball handler reading that play, and Knight did an excellent job.
People in this New York metro area know about Brandon Knight, knew about him in high school. Won 3 consecutive parochial league championships at Seton Hall Prep. 86-6 was his high school's record over those 3 years. And I mentioned his dad, Mel, played at Seton Hall. Brother Brevin, who's the Stanford star, moved on to the NBA. They talk often, most every day during the season. Not as much X's and O's, but more how to handle things that happen in games. That is a blocking foul. The basket's good. Lett took the worst of it and picks up the foul.
And once again, I definitely believe that Talik Brown is at his best when there is contact. You look at his body for a point guard, he's made for contact. But terrific finish right there. Didn't allow Lett's presence to take his focus off the basket.
Talik Brown, the latest in a long line of some very good guards to run the show for Jim Calhoun's team. Look at Tate George, Kevin Ollie, Jerome Sheffer, Ricky Moore, Khalid El Ami. All guys who've shined on this stage at the Garden, who will be the next generation of champions in the Big East.
Match between Yale and Pennsylvania at Easton, PA for the automatic bid. Jeff Schiffner knocks down the triple. A very strong effort by the Quakers. They're up 18 midway second half. And in the SWAC, Alcorn State, the top seed, have been blowing through this tournament, but played at an Alabama State tempo, and they're tied with 2 minutes to play, guys.
And Chris, if Alabama State wins that game, they could end up in the 64-65 game that's going to be on ESPN on Tuesday. The men's tournament selection special presented by Staples is at 7 Eastern, but the bracket banter will begin on SportsCenter at 6 Eastern. And before that, the exclusive announcement of the women's NCAA field of 64. Gino Auriemma, the coach of Connecticut, Pat Summitt, the coach of Tennessee, will join Robin Roberts and company on that show. We hope you join us throughout Selection Sunday and the great games before it. Title game in the ACC and the Big 12. In the Big East, it's Pittsburgh by 4 as we approach 3 minutes first half. 8 to shoot. Troutman. That time is backing away. That's a changed Okafor shot. And UConn comes away with it. Gordon looking to get going. He's taken only 1 shot tonight and missed it. After the last couple of games with 23 and 19.
Well, the Huskies have to kind of emulate Pittsburgh, and then in this last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you've got to make every opportunity down here count by utilizing some patience, getting some good shots. Their opportunities have come from off-the-dribble penetration.
Malik Brown is fouled. Siobhan Troutman's first, 4th on the Panthers here at Madison Square Garden. You know, we talked about the winner here maybe getting a 2 seed. The Connecticut women are clearly the #1 seed for the ladies NCAA tournament. And I've got a great matchup for you potentially in the first round. Connecticut against Hartford. University of Hartford won the America East Women's Conference Tournament. As we look at a Connecticut point guard on the line in Talik Brown, it's worth noting that former Connecticut point guard on their ladies team, Jen Rosati, is the head coach at the University of Hartford. So congratulations to Jen, and maybe she'll see Gino Auriemma in a first-round game, her old coach. This point guard trying to get going, less turnovers, but really went all drives, not many outside shots from Brown.
Well, that's his game, and Jim Calhoun will tell you he doesn't need Talik Brown to score for him. He needs him to penetrate, get others involved, take the shots when they're there, play solid defense on the other end. He's doing his part tonight.
Gordon scores. The lead is 1. We'll let you listen to the Husky fans as their team plays defense. Rebound, Gordon. They always have these spurts. Every UConn game you do. Here is Butler. Okafor cleaned it up.
You're right, Mike. They always have these spurts, and they begin with defense. They can live with Brandon Knight taking 20-footers as long as they keep them off the board, and they're able to get the rebound, and then the transition game gets going.
Morris goes at Okafor. Shot was altered by Emeka. You block shots for a long time, college and pros. He's really good, not just at the blocks, but the ones he changes.
Well, certainly he has planted a seed with the ones that he blocks. And now with his hands up and guys look up when they're ready to shoot, they know he's about to launch as soon as he sees the ball. And it really takes away from their focus on the basket. So it's a mental game when you're a shot blocker, and Okafor seems to have gotten his psychologist degree in that one.
A fresh shot clock. So Pittsburgh has plenty of time. Knight on Brown. Trying to force it in there. Robertson almost knocked it away. Ticker is at 15. And did Knight. Ron Brown twisting it off the floor. Said, get out of here.
All those gyrations were part of the understanding that Okafor is there and he may block something.
And Knight still ends up silencing the Husky fans and bringing the Panther fans to their feet.
Second chance opportunities. Okafor did the right thing in blocking it in the open floor, but Knight, as I mentioned before, you got to keep him off the boards. In reality, he's terrific.
This is a foul on Pittsburgh and on Knight. Chris Fowler and Digger Phelps are coming up. 7-up halftime report. The surprise story for Iowa and Luke Recker with a Keith Van Horn-like championship weekend. Upset in the ACC and the Ivy League story as well. Great job, not just Chris and Digger, Reese Davis and Carl Ravitch in there, but everyone working behind the scenes in long days and nights of championship week. The hoops have been great. Close the coverage. Shot clock is off. Connecticut can hold for one unless they get a quick one. They have to burn a timeout. Hate to do that in a close game here in the first half.
30-second timeout for the Huskies. 30.
The headline on the marquee of the Garden was best teams in the league, co-players of the year. How are they doing so far?
I think, again, they are leading their teams, doing what the strategy calls for. Caron Butler, again, penetration and making other guys better. And that's what great players do. And you take a look at Brandon Knight, the same thing. Penetration, hitting big shots, finding a way, and then making other guys better. You know, those are the two focal points of the opponent's defenses. And you take a look, they're having pretty much the same type of game.
Dave Ryan?
Mike and Len, UConn's key to stopping Brandon Knight. Defensive discipline. If he turns the corner or blows by the defense, don't lose patience to help out the beaten defenders. Stay with your man. If you slide and rotate, that leaves the Panther open. Tonight we'll dissect the Huskies as you did in the semis against Miami last night. Mike with a 14 assist to tie a Big East record. But as we just saw, if he goes by, he can score a layup too.
It was a record that was held by two of the greatest point guards in the history of this league. Wayne Pearl, Washington, Syracuse, Mark Jackson of St. John's.
And to further amplify Dave's comment, again, if your defenders on the perimeter, you got to make like a pencil, let Okafor be the eraser.
Here is Brown. Defensive help from Brown. Knocked it away. No basket, waved off. Tim Higgins had the call, and it was absolutely perfect. Ball was in his hands. One more peek before we head to halftime.
First, an excellent defensive play by Brown. And he knows what time it is.
Perfect. Good call. The leader at halftime has won 21 of the 23 Big East championship games. It's the Panthers +1 as we send it to Chris and Deere. Assist, 5 for 5 from inside the arc. He is the heart and the head of the Panthers. Second half ready to start at the Garden. 1-point game in the 2002 ConAgra Foods Big East Championship. Pittsburgh looking for its first ever Big East title. Up 1 here at the break. Really good feel to the whole first half. Both teams settled in quickly, I thought.
Well, they both have their rhythm, and both of them are doing an excellent job defensively. Connecticut, while Brandon Knight has 10 points, he only got 4 assists. Yesterday, he had 9 at the half. That means he's not making other guys better, keeping them out of the flow. On the other end, Connecticut doing an excellent job off the dribble, trying to take Pittsburgh into the paint because they're such tremendous perimeter defenders.
Here you see the numbers from the first half. Good field goal shooting for both teams. Pittsburgh with those 8 assists. Look at the points off turnovers there. The Huskies getting it done. And Len, you mentioned Knight not getting those assists to the other players. Jerron Brown, 4 in white, and Julius Page, 1 in white, did not score in that half, and they only took 2 shots. Significant because they averaged 22 points a game.
And they feed so much off of Brandon Knight. UConn doing a nice job of making Knight a scorer and not a creator. On that end, again, nice job by UConn to get Johnny Selvey off. Zavakis have been doing an excellent job on him up to then.
Huskies back on top. They did lead early portions of the first half. Okafor, the rebound. Huskies looking to come out quick. Caron Butler working Brown back in. Brown's good defense, powerful defense. Undeterred, gets the board.
Well, down low, there's no substitute for strength if you're allowed to really utilize it, stand as a wall, and keep guys from penetrating to the spot they like.
There's the muscular left-hander. Played at Maine Central Institute for some prep ball after his days at Turner Carroll High School in Buffalo. And Knight continues to be perfect inside of 20 feet. 6 of 6. He missed his 2 3-point tries in the first half.
Well, at least up until this point, I think, again, UConn can live with Knight being an offensive-minded player. They just don't want him to get into the paint and create havoc.
Tony Robertson had a good couple of drives in the first half. Lost that one. Page is a high riser. Here he goes.
That's what Knight's strength is all about, getting his teammates involved, putting them in a position to finish.
Pittsburgh by 3. That time a good pass to Okafor. Created the contact and then made the hoop.
Nice soft touch. Good form inside. He's more of an offensive threat than people will think.
Knight Knight and Brown will be seeing each other all night in their sleep. They've rarely left each other's side here in this first half. Knight tried to turn the corner, then pulled up. It was good defense by Talik Brown.
And Brandon Knight's got to recognize that the more shots he takes, the more he plays in the UConn's hands. Here's the steal by Knight, though, on the defensive end. And look at him draw the defender and then loft the alley-oop. Excellent job of drawing Talik Brown to him before he released.
Those two guys work so well together, Knight and Payton. 15 to shoot for UConn.
Boy, we have seen Caron Butler throughout this season utilize those picks so well and break open. Brown doing an excellent job of deterring the pass to him.
Selby was deterred defensively by Ontario Lett. The shot clock, Robertson down. Shot clock violation. Good defense from Pittsburgh. Here's Dave Ryan.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Brandon Mike's mother Brenda here. You remaining cool as a cucumber through all this. You're not a very emotional fan with your son just a few feet away. How do you remain so calm?
Well, unfortunately, I'm really not calm. My palms are sweating, and we've been talking about this all day, so I'm really not calm.
How was he today in terms of his mood and how he was handling the big game night?
Well, we haven't, I only talked to him last night before, and I haven't talked to him today. Just left him a message, told him that we love him and good luck. So, you know, he's been pretty calm, according to a couple of my nephews who said they talked to him. So,
what goes through your mind, Brendan, when you see the incredible alley-oop you just saw to Julius Page, or maybe one of his own great moves or layups?
Just amazing. Just amazing. You know, as they say all the time, it is, you know, basketball is very exciting, and now that I'm sitting down here at ground level, boy, I tell you, there's some big kids out there, and sometimes they're pushing around on him. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, no, not bad, especially as high as Julius can get up to.
Well, it's great to see. We know Brevin had to go play a game for the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. Guys, she's a secretary in the dean's office. Guess where, Mike? Seton Hall University.
That's great. Seton Hall Prep is where Brandon went to school. Thanks, Dave. Ontario Lett with a nice move along the baseline. Pittsburgh leads by 3. Lett has 10. This is not a true mock. They're fouling my son. Don't hurt my baby.
Oh, that's a tough interview for Dave, simply because Mrs. Knight wanted to watch the game as much as she wanted to talk.
Official timeout under 16 comes at 15:59. The Ontario Lett average 8 per game, 13 to 10 his last
2. Stranglehold on the automatic bid will be maintained. Quakers very strong against Yale in the special playoff game. Andrew Toole misses the 3, then makes the steal and lays it in. The lead is 19 with 4 minutes to go. Pair of 26-win teams playing for the WAC championship on Tulsa's home floor, where Hawaii won earlier. They are tied at 9 in the early going. Mike?
Hey, Chris, I'm sure you guys think both of those teams will be a part of the field of 65. 30 and 33, the RPIs from Tulsa and Hawaii. San Diego State on UNLV's home floor for the automatic bid, the EAS Mountain West Championship. Bob Carpenter and Jimmy Dykes will bring that to you from the Thomas and Mack at 10 Eastern. Charlie Spoonhour's gotten UNLV to the title game, and Steve Fisher for San Diego State that deserves an at-large look. An RPI of 42, a non-conference schedule. That was pretty good this year as well, including a game of 2. That's coming up after us. We got plenty to do here. Panthers +3 with the ball. 4:20 gone by here in the second half.
Excellent defensive trip down there for Pittsburgh. Gordon drives the baseline, and everybody converges. He's really out of position to take that wild shot. And then you limit Connecticut to just 1 and out.
Shot clock coming to 10. The ball is not in the hands of Knight, and the turnover happens up high with Chad Johnson. Butler pulls over. 0-4. Finishes.
2 excellent no calls by the officials. I know Ben Howland is screaming for a call, but in a sense, you know, Butler avoided the contact. Guys still fell, but there wasn't any real contact there. There wasn't any advantage to Butler's movement.
There's another take, got all the way, and the foul happens outside. We're at the Garden in New York, and Pittsburgh's in the title game for the second consecutive year. You know, Pittsburgh and Connecticut the last 2 years have had to play 4 consecutive nights to get to the championship game. UConn in 2000, Pittsburgh in 2001. This year, both got the bye and were part of the higher seeds or better teams, winning all but 1 game in this Conagra Foods Big East Championship.
Well, that's what happens when you do your homework during the regular season.
Both teams 13-3 in the lead. Let's had a good night. Butler reacts defensively. Still plenty of time. This is what Pittsburgh does. Nothing happened on that first set.
But look at Brown overplaying Knight, trying to keep him from getting the ball, but Knight goes back door.
That's a foul. It's a holding foul. It would have been 15 yards in the NFL and an automatic first down because of defensive holding. He had a grab of the jersey. Brandon was streaking down the lane.
Well, his teammates have to be aware that if he's going to deny, they've got to cover up down the lane. You look right there. Brown turns his head just ever so slightly, and Knight finds a pass. Also, you got to pressure the ball handler, the guy making the pass.
Page, alley-oop. Didn't have the enthusiastic wild slam to go with it, but counts just the same. But a job by Julius.
That's pinpoint execution.
Travel as the third foul by Talik Brown took him off the floor. And now Gordon and Robertson play the backcourt. And the big guys try to handle too much there. This is an interesting time for Connecticut. How does their offense go with their point guard on the bench? Back door on Gordon with Page. Crashing the glass. Ontario has a dozen.
You know, what UConn is doing at the point of the ball, they're playing pretty good defense. It's their support defense that's letting them down.
Robertson for 3. Tourney Robertson hits the first 3 of the night for the Huskies. UConn only hits 4 per game. Not a big part of their arsenal, but they get it when they need it. Left for Johnson. That one was telegraphed. Butler runs the left. Selby the right. Gordon takes it himself.
Boy, that was about as comfortable as I've seen Ben Gordon in leading the fast break. You know, he's not really a point guard. He's had to be pressed into that type of service. And here he kind of weaved his way through the crowd. A nice little scoop shot. Boy, what a tremendous tournament for that freshman.
All square at 38. Ball side dribble is what the sign the assistant coach is holding up says. Foul called on Gordon. Every once in a while, you get the old flash card for the offensive set.
Well, I think what Pittsburgh has done is anticipated this being a pro-Connecticut crowd, and if the crowd got loud, you know, they wanted to utilize that to make sure their guys understand what they're running and when.
And it is something that they have utilized during the season. Knight got a friendly rim, and his first 3 of the night, even he had a smile at that bounce.
Now, that's just some clean living. No question about it.
Okafor got let in the air and got fouled. A rare Panther foul. They've only committed 6 in the first 28 minutes.
Well, once again, coming off the screen, and there's the shot straight up at you.
Great look, guys. Chip Dean, our director. Bo Garrett, our producer, our Big East crew. So many of these folks have been working this championship for our many years covering it at ESPN. And they've done a usually terrific job. And same goes for the afternoon crew with Dave Sims and Bill Raftery. Bruce Perrott was directing. John McDonough, who is under the weather, usually directs our Big East games. Mike Molinari, Matt Sandulli also worked a lot of the Big East games during the year. And on behalf of Dan Schulman and Doris Burke, who worked a bunch of the games with Lenny, myself, Raph, and Dave Sims, thank you, folks, for making the year in the Big East enjoyable once again.
Here, here.
Panthers by 3. See if the Huskies get it to the co-player of the year, Butler. They collapse the defense. Troutman forced this turnover. Page runs left. Troutman on the right. Couldn't catch it to convert. Now the Huskies come the other way. Gordon runs the shot. Butler wants to shoot. That's a foul as Okafor was going up. And Ron Brown cleared him out.
Well, after the strip of Butler, here's the break. And again, delivery on time, but unfortunately Troutman cannot handle it. Then the other way, this is UConn's game right here. You see the lob, and you see the foul right there as Brown gets underneath Okafor.
Interesting, that foul called in the act of shooting.
Well, he got his hand on it, and he actually was able to tip the ball, and that's pretty good presence of mind. A lot of guys would have just made sure that they broke their fall as opposed to going after the ball.
Emeka Okafor, third-team All-Big East, in addition to being a unanimous All-Rookie selection in the league this year. A very smart young man as well. Over 4 grade point average in high school because of his advanced placement classes. In addition to all the numbers he puts up on the stat sheet, puts up great numbers in the classroom as well. To come home and his sister, who he's very close with, is watching TV, and Emeka will say, "What are you watching TV for?" He doesn't watch TV hardly at all, except for some sports here and there. He loves to read, a very educated and intelligent young man. Cage lost his shoe.
A nice dribble
By Butler. Man. A pro finish.
May prove to be prophetic.
And the Panthers stop it here. Pittsburgh takes the 30. It becomes a full timeout. So we'll step out. All even at 41. The battle in the Big East. The champs of the regular season getting it done.
Pennsylvania back to the field of 65. Third time in 4 years. It's not over, but it's over at Easton.
Maybe a 10-11 type seed for Pennsylvania in the tournament with an RPI around 40. How about this move?
mad open floor skills right there between his legs to avoid the quick hands tonight, and then to finish with a little English.
Lett comes back in for Pittsburgh. Brown stays on the, comes back on the floor, I should say, for Connecticut at point guard. Lett goes at Okafor. At him again. At him again. And Okafor gets the rebound. Couple of pumps, one shot. Huskies for the lead. Robertson there to bail out the bounce, but then commit the offensive foul. 5 team fouls on UConn. 2 on Pittsburgh. Maybe a little bit too much mustard on that fast break.